and today we'll be talking about an artist named Mr.Kitty, who has allegedly done some pretty serious things to an underage fan. The only other person I've seen cover this is Ready to Glare, but after seeing After Dark slowed and Reverb repost resurface and get so many views, I think it's rather odd that this hasn't been talked about that much, especially since I've only seen Ready to Glare and a few other news articles covering this. I'm also not disappointed in how Ready to Glare covered this. I think she did a fantastic job and held them accountable. I also want to cover this as a fan who's disappointed in his actions. Some background into how I found out about Mr. Kitty was in 2017 when edgy animation memes were popular with the kids, and an animator who currently goes by Missy uploaded an original animation meme that used Mr. Kitty's Destroy Me. I loved the song and checked out his other work and fell in love with After Dark. Then I was going through some rough times in 2020 and revisited his music where he released an album, and I fell in love with all of his music. I love the EDM sound that he has, and every song is so unique and lyrics are usually all done by him. I love how calming Escape and Drown are. I love the clear Dance Dance Revolution influence of Lamentation. Just a lot of his music shows vulnerability and emotion. A lot of fans like myself can just appreciate not only how wonderful the songs are, but also accompanied with lyrics that some of us can really connect with. I appreciated that a lot. But it came around July 8, 2021, extremely disturbed me and others. Before the evidence came out, Mr. Kitty released a statement regarding a situation where a lot of people didn't know what was going on, but considering how he worded his statement, he got a lot of support. He disabled comments on his Instagram apology post and disabled replies on his Twitter post, but Facebook does not have any option for disabling feedback. The statement reads, "A couple years back, I took a break from music, and it's time that I say why. Before my break, I was going through a rough time in my life, and I decided to seek validation online. I chose to go through my DMs and have conversations with my fans to seek validation. One person struck a nerve with me and we started talking for a couple of days. I began to develop feelings for this person and the conversation turned explicit. A while after we had been talking, he revealed that he was a minor. I broke down. This was the lowest moment of my entire life, and I tried to kill myself that night. I didn't know what to do. Should I slowly end this communication, or do I block him now? I felt like not only did I just ruin a minor's life, but my husband's as well. I chose to end the conversation slowly. While seeking help for my depression and deal with all the damage I had caused for multiple people, I thought I was in a better place, and today, I fell to that place again. I thought I should reach out to the victim to apologize again. It was devastating to know how much my actions have hurt them. It will continue to hurt them. Yes, I should have asked for their age, but that is no excuse for my actions. I am coming forward so that no one sends them hate, and hopefully I can continue to see what I have done in my own part. I am not asking for y'all to forgive me, but asking that you please respect the people I have hurt in this process. I will be taking another break to seek some more help. I love you all so much, and I'm sorry." It is understandable that people would commend him for coming forward with something like this and appreciate his vulnerability to admit his mistakes, but unfortunately this was not the complete truth. The day after Mr. Kitty's statements went public, a Twitter user who goes by Vasya Nartov, I hope I pronounced that correctly, had provided evidence of explicit messages where Mr. Kitty was basically sexting and shared pornography with the minor while being aware of his age. The evidence also shows that this went on for months. The tweet states, "This singer is a pedophile and exchanged nudes with a 15-year-old boy. He manipulated and said that he was depressed and wanted to kill himself. People forgave him and continue to listen to his music. People should know the truth. His name is Mr. Kitty. Please spread the word." And attached are two pretty damning screenshots of Mr. Kitty being aware of the minor's age while continuing to sext him. I will proceed to read the screenshots. Yeah, I haven't even thought you were going to send me that picture. Now I feel bad. Wow, I'm an idiot. No worries, friend. I still love your music. What's bad in that picture? Nothing is bad in the photo. It's that I sent a 15-year-old that photo. So what? My age doesn't matter. Okay, I know, but you're hotter. Do you like that I'm older than you? Damn, yeah. You like me being your daddy? Yes, daddy. Then they attached more evidence in a reply to the original tweet. I got you. Only if you want to, but daddy would like it. Everything's okay. Have you had sex yet? No. Nice. Does your husband know about what we're doing? No. Rest in peace me. Why? My life would be over. No worries. He won't ever know about it. Everything is alright? They then later attached video screen recordings on June 29th with the caption saying, "The full record of Mr. Kitty's and 15-year-old's chat." To make it clear, the minor didn't realize that it's not normal and was going all in to speak with an idol who he was in love with, so he had to send his nudes to support their relations. Part 1. Part 2 is provided with the caption explaining, also, as victim says, in a 2020, a not safe for work video was sent, but later it was deleted. Mr. Kitty was the first one to send his nudes after telling his D size, but then deleted them as he saw them being screenshotted. Part 2. In the Austin Chronicle, the teen who will not be named because he's still a minor had explained in an email to the newsletter about the situation. He felt that Mr. Kitty had made his apology to save his career. It provided an explanation that contrasts from Mr. Kitty's details from the side of the story. It reads, "This situation occurred in May of 2019. I was a big fan of his music and at a time and wanted to know more. On the 3rd of May, I texted him in DM asking him height, weight. I was with my friends and they saw what I texted. After he responded, my friends asked him with my phone about his dick as a joke. He answered me after seeing all my profile pictures and realizing I'm a minor with a nude pic. At first, I understand why he sent me nudes since he knew I'm a minor. I was scared AF, but at the time I was flattered to receive this kind of attention from a guy I like. I told him it's okay and that no one will know about it, and then he replied, send me yours. Later, I sent him my nudes because I wanted to revive our relations for some time by this bad way of sharing pictures. I asked him to guess my age. He thought I was 16, but I immediately told him I was 15 in fact. As soon as I said, he apologized, but realizing that I'm okay with this and won't tell anyone, he continued sending pics and vids. While chatting, I sent him a vid of a Sims gameplay where I made copies of us have sex. He said he wished to see this in real life, but unfortunately we were in different cities. He called me in a video chat and wanted to see me, but I was too scared to pick a call because I was shy of my English, was not ready to see my idol like this. In his apology, he mentioned his depression and that he felt bad, wanted to commit a suicide, but all of this is a lie. He continued to chat with me till the last moment, told me he's my daddy and sent me sex tapes, asked, do you like me being older than you? I answered his provocative messages and I was not okay, even if I didn't fully realize that back then. All of the seriousness of this situation came up to my mind in 2020 when I had a breakdown and I had my first relationship. In April of 2020, he sent me his last sex tape with another person and asked if I was interested in sharing nudes. After my response, he deleted that video and said, okay. I'm 17 right now and 2 years after I shared this story because I accidentally told someone that I chatted with Mr. Kitty in 2019 and they asked for details. Even this situation took a long time ago. I still get grossed out because of this. When people started to find out all the details, I was told that it's my fault, that I made him do this, that I didn't mention my age. Everyone defended him, saying that he can change, but I don't believe that. His apology is just to try and save his career, and I'm glad that people can help me by sharing this story. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that dude lied about the situation here. I think for one, that's deplorable that not only did he lie to his fans about the situation, but he basically manipulated and guilt-tripped his audience by mentioning his suicide over how he committed acts of actual pedophilia and cheated on his husband. Like, Mr. Kitty was well aware that the minor was 15 years old and still decided to continue to sext him and share nude photos with him. He should have known to ask for the fan's age before engaging in behavior like this. It's disappointing to know that not only did he decide to engage in inappropriate behavior with a minor and probably scar the poor kid for life, but also cheat on his husband with a minor, which I cannot imagine the hurt they both must feel about the situation. Also, according to the Austin Chronicle, less than 6 weeks from when this situation had came to light, he made a statement speaking out against Ethan Cath of Crystal Castles, where former singer Alice Glass had accused Ethan Cath of physical and sexual abuse, to which Cath declined. I couldn't find the Twitter statement, but someone thankfully archived an Instagram story post which seems to align with what the Austin Chronicle claims about how he stated, "Fuck abusers, rapists, and manipulators," in regards to Ethan Cath. It reads, "I'm going to have to keep this brief, but I'm going to have to get this off my chest. If you still support Crystal Castles, you're supporting an abuser, manipulator, and rapist, also known as, and I'm probably going to butcher this, Claudio Palmieri, aka Ethan Cath. I denounced CC on my Twitter a couple weeks ago, and suddenly I've been getting messages from burner accounts on all of my platforms saying that I steal music from Beatport and calling me names like Mr. copycat. The making of multiple accounts is something that EK does commonly and harasses people because he has nothing better to do. This is surely ironic considering what came after, considering he's now exposed as a pedophile. There were certainly consequences that came from this situation. Around this time, upcoming tour dates for Mr. Kitty disappeared, and his record label, Negative Gain, had made an official statement basically denouncing Mr. Kitty. It reads, "As we continue to evaluate information involving the actions of Mr. Kitty, we would like to send a clear message. We do not support the actions taken by Mr. Kitty. Starting immediately, NGP will discontinue all sales of Mr. Kitty's albums. We are focused on supporting those who have been harmed, including Mr. Kitty's estranged husband, Isaac Ross Lemaire. Moving forward, Isaac has been given all the rights to Mr. Kitty's streaming sales to help rebuild his own life. Negative Game and Isaac have also come together to make a significant donation to the following organizations, RAINN and HRC. But unfortunately, he seems to be doing currently fine. He quietly deleted his debunked statement off of Instagram and Twitter, and disabled comments on all of his songs on YouTube. After Dark reposts of the slowed and reverb kind with many views keep recurring on my YouTube recommendations, which I bet he's earning bank off of due to YouTube's copyright system. I will go on Instagram and TikTok and see Mr. Kitty's music used in posts and reels. It's pretty much just going for him, it seems. But where do we conclude from here?
This is Officer Narco Scene, and Mikey has been kind enough to let me step on this video, give my verdict on the Mr. Kitty case. Well, boomers and the like most often want to dismiss this new wave of holding musicians accountable as a side effect of a #MeToo era. The skeptical are quick to claim that it's too easy to smear an artist with the ugly stain of misconduct allegations, that we should instead fight to believe the accused before believing the victim. Then there's the opposite side of the same coin. Believe the victim, some say, always, forever, and without a shadow of a doubt. Reality for everyone involved is that there will never be a mathematically perfected formula that we can just force every case or allegation into the mold of. Human behavior and the human-specific evil of manipulation and abuse is always going to be out of predictable control. What leaves fans and outsiders alike so boggled with the case of Mr. Kitty, and honestly maybe unrightfully so, was his jump to expose himself before the victim could. With retrospect, it took the most simple, shallow attempt at reverse psychology for Mr. Kitty to garner reasonable doubt from anyone looking too closely at his behavior. We've done a freaky cultural full circle where abusers have now hijacked the power of the iPhone Notes app to their advantage. With content creators and artists, whether we want to admit it or not, we usually want them to be not holier than thou, but holier than us. Relatability and emotional pull draws us to artists. We want to believe they're like us, and therefore being like them makes us more significant than we were before we found their art. But at the same time, I don't think any of us are above accidentally idolizing these people, even when we try to take conscious control of our admiration. Knowing what we know now, we can shrug Mr. Kitty off, say he was a one-hit wonder, minimize his impact, and laugh at how relatively small his platform was to begin with. But we've seen the damage that can be done with the little leverage he was given. For fans and passersby alike, I won't tell you to exactly just learn from this, but maybe instead the harsh reality is brace yourself. Expect the unexpected, basically. Suspend your belief. Give more value to your forgiveness and leniency. You don't owe these untouchable figures your immediate consensus on a subject that is so intense and complex, no matter how much they try to reassure you that it's been dealt with. Because as we've seen with the Mr. Kitty fiasco, we don't actually know at all what happens after dark. You didn't know I was a comedian, did you? No. Sorry, it's not funny. It's not really a funny situation. But as my own personal closer, thank you once again for having me on the channel and for even making this video in the first place, because I think, like you even mentioned yourself at the beginning of the video, I haven't seen anyone talk about this, much less make a video on it. So I hope my little think piece helped.
A huge thank you to Narcoscene for helping me with this video, and also to anyone stumbling upon this. Also, I know with the theme of this video and the last one makes it seem as if I'm going to make more commentary videos, but honestly, covering these kinds of topics makes you realize I can't really make these kinds of videos too often, and honestly, I plan on posting out of my ass for the next couple of videos. But regardless, I really do appreciate all the support, and I hope you have a good one, and take care.